Hi everybody, it's Robbie here from Co-Driver app, and I just want to give you a quick walkthrough video of the new upgrade that's actually just gone on to the iTunes store yesterday. It's Friday the 13th of January, so you should have it on your hand devices probably by Tuesday or Wednesday for download. You can see right here now we've changed the icon and we've changed the name slightly. It's now called Co-Driver Pro, and because of all of the feedback that we've got from the people out on the ground using the app, we now have it to a level where we're very happy to call it Co-Driver Pro. Let's quickly launch the app. Here you can see the startup screen. Just tap to activate, and now you're into the screen where you can actually start a new event or open a saved event. If you want to start a new event, you simply click on New Event button and you enter in your new event name, and when you're done with that you can select the Done button up on the top right hand corner. But because I have an event already saved in this, I'm just going to show you what the saved event looks like. This is the menu for the saved event. You can see we've got Monte Carlo event entered in here, and given that Monte Carlo is only a week away, let's open up Monte Carlo. And now we're in the main timer screen, and there's a couple of features that I want to speak to you about before I go into each individual one. You can see on the bottom now we've got the 4 new buttons, which are the Q4, the clock icon there is for control, that's for your road section control time. We've got our fuel calculator, and we've also got our note section. I'll go through each one of those individually, but before I get any of that done, I want to show you some of the setup features that you need to get involved with at the start of an event. So let's press the settings tab. Okay, so here's the settings screen. You can see on the top we have the current time of day, which you can now offset to an app time. A lot of the clocks that are used in rallies do use radio control time, and so does the iPhone. But if you're running in a Clubman event, you might not have the radio control clock, and it might be necessary to offset the time to match the time of the app with rally time. And the simple way to do that is by tapping on the time to adjust. You'll see it brings up this menu where you've got a 0 button on the right. If you click 0, what happens is it resets the seconds and the milliseconds to 00, and then it allows you on the Tumblr UI to scroll to the minute that you want to actually set your time, your app time to. So we're going to take it that rally time is 3 minutes ahead of radio control time, and we're going to set our time on our app to 12:36:00. So when you're syncing up with rally time, as soon as rally time hits 00, you will select the Done button, and then you will have set 12:36:00 into the app, and that is the time that the app will run on, and that's the time that all of the stages will start and all of the time recording will be done at. So underneath that we've got the countdown time. You can set that to 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 15 seconds. For a lot of the WRC users, we have them doing a countdown from 10 seconds. But for Clubman's and my own personal preference, I normally have it count down from 5, which is very handy. The prevent screen lock button, what that does is it enables you to stop the app going into sleep mode and stop the iPhone going into sleep mode when you're actually on a stage and recording a time. It's not that heavy on a battery. You know, the new iPhone 4, 4S, the batteries are pretty good. The 3GS, you're going to get, you know, a full day's event out of a battery, and a lot more, plus with all the calls you've got to make. So the app is not going to drain the battery in any huge way. If you want to save battery, I would say to you, turn down the brightness on the screen. That is in your own personal settings, and that's a much easier way to save battery power than actually try and switch off the app. So I'm going to turn on the prevent screen lock. You can see underneath that then we've got show stage and finish times. That is in the stopwatch mode. It's your own personal preference whether you want to have the app count down from the preset start time or that you just want to use it as a stopwatch. But again, for special stage rallying, I'm going to leave that on. The event tab is in milliseconds and in seconds. You can turn off milliseconds and turn on milliseconds now, depending on the event time that has been running, but also on personal preference. So I'm just going to leave it off for this example. And then you'll see the slider bar here in the bottom. What that is for is really setting the amount of minutes that you would like the alarm on the phone to ring you at when your countdown for your service exit is almost up. I'm going to set it there at 2 minutes. And when I say ring, what happens is the app will actually cause the phone to ring with the same ringtone that you've got set up normally, and it's going to give you a little pop-up display warning message that you have to literally pick the phone up and answer it by pressing OK. And the message is, you're 5 minutes away from your exit control, or you're 10 minutes away, depending on what it is, so that it's a proper warning that you get. And you'll see a little image there of an example of how that display is appearing on the phone. Now I've got all this set up, I'm ready to select done, and I'm ready to go back into my main screen, and I'm going to show you now how to start timing your first stage with Co-Driver app. Okay, so now you want to record a stage time with Co-Driver app. What you need to do is to set the start time that's been given to you by the time marshal. You basically click on the tap to set over on the start time. That's going to bring up the set start time screen, and as you can see, it's given you the option to start either on a 00 second or on a half minute for some of the people that actually rally on the half minutes. And we're going to say that we're going to start at 41:30. That's the time that's been given to me on my card, and I press done, and now you can see that the app shows the time that's been set on the left hand side. It's 12:41:30, and the current time of day is now at 12:40:40. So what is going to happen is, when 12:41:30 is approaching, and when it's 5 seconds away from actually being 12:41:30, the app will automatically start countdown. You will see the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 image start to count down, and you'll now also hear an audible beep for every second that's counted down. When it reaches 0, it's going to automatically start the stopwatch, and it's going to enter into the stage timing mode, and you're going to see the color on the app change. That shows you that the timer is now live, and you're going to be very, very busy at that stage. But at a quick glance to the app, when you see everything is green, you know, okay, I'm recording a live stage. Now, it doesn't matter if you actually, you can hear the countdown starting there. It doesn't matter if you actually miss recording a stage time. I'm going to show you a little shortcut on how to actually still manually enter in your stage time into the app. So let me just quickly stop the stopwatch here. Now you can see how everything turns red when the stopwatch is pressed in stop mode. You've got two options here right now. If you want to change the finish time to correspond with the time that you got in the app, you can simply select on the right hand side, set the end time, and again we have the 0 button there to quickly zero everything, and you can zero that if you want, but I'm not going to do that with this option. If you press the reset button, which is the green button on the right, what's now going to happen is a little pop-up is going to occur, and it's going to say, would you like to reset the time, or do you want to save the time? Because a lot of people were forgetting to press save on the top right hand corner, and we decided to add this pop-up feature here. So I'm going to actually save this time, and I'm going to save it in as stage number 4. And if I go back to my event viewer here, which is the bottom left hand corner, you'll see stage number 4 is there. If you had named it as stage number 1 or 2, that would be the number that's there, but just for this example, I'm going to show you a stage number 4. Let's go back into the timer for a moment, press reset, and because you've saved the time, it now knows, okay, the time has been saved. You don't get that pop-up warning again. I'm going to start the timer again without setting the start time. I've manually started it, and the reason why I did that is I quickly want to show you what happens when you save a second stage in the app. I press stop, and again I can press reset, or I can press the save button on the top right, and I press the save button, and now you can see that it automatically numbers the next stage in the sequence for you. So because the previous stage I saved was stage number 4, it's now automatically picking stage number 5, and I can press save, go back into my event, and I've got stage number 5 there as well. You can also see in the main event manager screen here that the milliseconds have been switched off. That's because I selected that in the settings. It's worth knowing as well to navigate the app at this point. If you use the bottom bar, you can automatically go back to the timer no matter what screen you're in. Okay, so before I finish up quickly with the timing function, what I want to do is show you a scenario of what would happen if you actually forgot to record a stage. Maybe you had a puncher at the end of the last stage and you were a bit panicked getting to the start of the next one, and it can happen. It happens us all, and it's very easy to save in a time manually, and I'm going to leave it as the previously recorded stage. I've checked my timer and I see that I forgot to actually record the last stage. Simply press the save button again if you wish, and it will give you time as the last stage, or you can press reset and then press save. It'll automatically number stage number 6. When you go back into your event timer, it's going to give you a 00 time. You click on the column with the 00 and you can enter in the time that the stage would have been, 11 minutes 2 seconds, and it automatically adds it into the event manager. The same is true for stage 5 and stage 4. If you click on the cell, you can actually adjust the time, again, to correspond with the official rally timing, and that gives you your official total then. And to do this is very easy to do, but we've had to leave the columns pretty wide on this for people's thumbs to be able to hit the columns. We are making another update to the full event manager very, very soon, but the columns will have to stay the same size, because if we made them any thinner, people's fingers just would not be able to hit the proper column. So back to the timer screen, and now let's cover off some of the new features that we have for you on this version of CodeDriver. Okay, let's take a look at the control feature. And what the control feature does is it handles everything to do with your road section time. So let's press the icon, and here you'll see that we have the current time of day on top. Underneath that, it allows you to enter in the last control time, which could be the end of the last stage or whatever you'd wish that to be. I'm just going to put that at 13:00, and I just left in 6 seconds there to show that you can record the exact time if you wish. My road section time gives me a time allowance of 10 minutes. And now you can see the countdown has started over on the far right hand side by the time remaining. If you were doing a longer road section and you wanted to calculate the average speed over the distance, you can quite simply select the distance field, press clear, and this is actually calculated in thousands, so it doesn't matter what it is. 2 miles would be 2,000 in units, and the same with kilometers. So you're just going to go 2,000 for 2 miles, and you can see it calculates the average speed there. And I know once my car does not stay under the average speed for a long period of time, I'm going to arrive at the control at the proper time. Now you can move from the screen at any time you wish by pressing the back button on the top right hand side, or by pressing the timer icon down on the bottom navigation bar. So now let's look at the fuel feature. So here we got a quick fuel calculator, which is handy for calculating your fuel requirement for a particular leg. Now, depending on the car that you're in, be it Group N or WRC, and depending on your location, you might know what the car consumes on a mile per litre on the road and stage, or on a kilometre per litre. So I'm going to just use an average mile per litre example, and on the stage, a WRC car normally uses 1 litre per mile, and on the road section it can vary between 0.5 and 0.8, but here I'm just going to put down 0.5. And as you can see, it calculates what it would be in kilometers. So if you only know what the car does in kilometers, it's going to match. Now we're going to do a road distance. So for this particular leg, again, it's in miles. It's going to be 28 miles in road leg, and it's going to be total stage. It's going to be 12, and you can just simply press return, and you can see it calculates your requirement is going to be 26 litres for the total leg. I would always add a litre or two more onto that as a safety net, and you would never know whether you're going to have alternative road route, but it's always a good rule of thumb to have 10 litres in reserve, regardless of what the app or regardless of what other mechanical calculation tells you, because you never know what an alternative route you'll have to take during the event. Again, to navigate out of the screen, you can press the back button on the top right or the timer feature on the bottom navigation bar. Now we've got the notes section. Quite simply, it's a quick note section where we can add in new notes when we're on the stages for maybe service crew notes. There's going to be an extra feature added into this very shortly where there's going to be reminders and checklists that is going to be just underneath the parc fermé times. But right now we're dealing with service crew notes and we're dealing with parc fermé times. It's very handy to record parc fermé times, particularly if you're at a bulletin board and you need to make a quick note. You're always going to have your phone with you, and you can see it just records a quick parc fermé time for you there, and you can always add in a new one by just pressing the add new, and it brings up a new screen again, and just press return to move down to the next line, or press done, and you can see it adds in a second field there for you. So that's the quick note section. And again, to get back to the main screen, you can press the timer tab on the navigation bar or the back button on the top right hand side. Okay, let's take a look at the service feature. Press the service icon on the bottom right hand corner, and here you can see the current time of day on the top again. That's going to be consistently shown on pretty much every screen that we have, because it's always handy to have that around you. Your service time in, if you click on the cell for service time in, it will allow you to actually record the actual minutes that you're on. Even though now current time of day is 13:06:51, if you wanted to record it at 13:06:00, you can do so, and then you can enter in your service time length. And we've given a couple of options here in hours, minutes and half seconds, because it can vary. You can either use this as a parc fermé timer, or you can use it as a service timer. I'm just going to say this typical service is going to be 20 minutes long, and here you can see now that the app is counting down in the large display, telling you that you've got 18 minutes left. If you can remember, when we went back to the settings, I have set this alarm to go off 2 minutes before my actual due out time. So let's go back into the service mode again, and let's just emulate the countdown with 2 minutes to go by clicking on service time. I'm just going to shorten the service to 5 minutes, and you can see it's there at 3 minutes to go. So now we jump forward another number of seconds, and you can see it's counting down to the last 19 seconds before the alarm due time. Just quickly want to show you what the alarm is going to appear like on the screen. 5 seconds to go before the alarm. You can have the phone in your pocket, you can have it in another app. You can now see that the screen timer comes up and the phone starts to ring. So it's going to stay ringing until you actually answer the call, which is basically the app. You press OK and that all stops. So you actually physically have to answer the phone by pressing the OK button, and that's just going to keep ringing and ringing until you actually press the OK button. So that's a handy feature for you. It means you can be in another app, you can be doing something else, you can have the phone in your pocket, and that's going to ring when you require it to do so. And the final little thing on the service feature is when the timer does reach 00, you're just going to simply see that the numbers are going to turn red. Again, that's just a visual cue in case you're in a noisy environment, or even if you were in a facility where you had the helmet on and you wanted to, on the way out of control, you wanted to quickly look at it, you can see that it's at 00. I'm going to go on to the event manager next, and I'm going to walk you through the features of the event manager, and I'm going to also show you some of the new improvements that we're going to have included in the next update of Co-Driver app. Okay, so here is really going to be the hub of everything that you record during the event. It's going to include your own times, your competitors' times, and you can record up to 150 other competitors' times with the Co-Driver app. Right now we can only record a competitor by the car number, but we are adding an addition to the next update, which is due out in a week or so's time, of being able to, before the event even starts, type in the driver's name and give them the car number as well. We all have our own ways of recognizing how these people are recorded. So I'm just going to record car number 3, and I'm going to click on the first cell, and which was stage number 4, and I'm going to give him a time of 15 seconds. Hypothetical. You can see it adds it in there. With number 9, stage number 5, I'm going to give him 8 seconds, and here with the final one, 4, it gives them 4 seconds. So what this then does is it allows you to quickly see at a glance who the fastest total is, which is your own total because it's green. It allows you to see their total in orange to the right, and in white there's a tab bar which shows you the difference between your car and car number 3. Again, if you want to add another car, simply go to the IU. Let's add a couple of more. So here you can see I've added in 3 other competitors, their hypothetical times, and the totals and the hypothetical differences are shown as well. When I add in a 4th competitor, because you can add up to 150, you can see how it moves the cell across. If I need to move back to see the first column, I just simply press the arrow on the left and it moves me back, and the arrow on the right will also move you across as well. So you can quite easily navigate through the numbers, and you can see how the last one was number 7 and how the blank one I entered was number 5. It's 5 is slotted into the correct space and 7 is there. If I added in a car in its 20s, it would numerically drop the correct column beside the last car number. That's why we're using the car numbers, and then we'll be able to attach the drivers' names to the cell just underneath that, which is coming on the next update, as I said. Okay, so that's all for Co-Driver Pro walkthrough right now. We're delighted to get your feedback as always to info@codriverapp.com, and we're always striving to improve this app to make it the best app out there. Right now it's been #1 in a lot of countries across the world on the iTunes App Store, and thank you to everybody that's put it in that position and that's bought the app and supported us in making this app better and better. Until the next time, this is Robbie. Thanks, I'll see you soon.